Well, how are you doing? Okay, let's make this bigger. Okay, this video is going to be a quick video on why this image completely debunks the globe Earth, the whole globe Earth model. Because this image came out years ago and it was claimed to be proof of a globe, but actually debunks the globe. And the reason is because it shows horizontal, linear, uniform disappearance in the z-axis, something that's impossible on a globe Earth. Now, this was shown years ago to just be tsunami wave showing. I think this photograph is taken off of the coast of, I think it's Australia or Hawaii, somewhere like that, where they get this effect. But either way, wherever it's taken, this effect tends to happen there. And it's just due to a steep drop off in the topography underneath the water. But all that's immaterial. The point is that these two ships are maybe half a mile apart, maybe a mile. Let's just say half a mile, right? It doesn't really matter. Let's just say they're half a mile apart, right? Now, for this ship to be missing, let's just say this ship has, let's say this container here is, let's call it, if that container is, let's say, 100 feet off of the water below, or let's just say 60 feet, right? And let's say there's half of the ship missing, right? Obscured, right? So there's an obstruction of, let's say, 30 feet of the ship, right? And there's only half a mile of, let's say, distance or a mile distance between the two. Then how would this be possible on the globe Earth model? It wouldn't be. It would be completely impossible. As at half a mile, the maximum amount of obstruction could be 2 inches. At a mile, the maximum amount of obstruction is 8 inches, right, on a globe model. But that would all require a measured radius value. So all we can do is use the calculation. We don't have a measurement for that calculation. If there was measurements for these calculations, there wouldn't be an argument. But the point is that you are seeing a uniform lateral disappearance in the z-axis of this ship. I'm just going to get, give me this a second, annotate line, right? Make that a bit smaller, it's a bit big enough. Now, that'll do, right? So here is a straight line, right? So you're seeing a disappearance of 30 feet, let's say, of that ship. And it's a disappearance of 30 feet between that ship and the other ship in the foreground. So how is that, right? How is that possible, right, on a globe Earth? It's not. On a globe Earth, for 30 feet of that ship to be missing, right, would require, for that ship to be going over a curve, for 30 feet of it missing would mean that the one side of it would have to be down and the other side would have to be up. That's 30 feet of the ship. Would, like, for that much to be missing at any point, it would mean that you'd have to have this type of thing going on. It would literally have to be that. You'd have to have a ship that looks like it's going down, a hill. It would have to be for that much of the ship to be missing. But it's not. It's not. It's lateral. Look, it's lateral. Like the photographer is probably a little bit lopsided here, so we'll have to just use the water line here as the straight line, as we know it always is. But it's a lateral disappearance, and if you come in, that's where the bottom of the ship would be if it wasn't obstructed. So this is only possible across a flat plane, a horizontal plane. It's not possible for that much of that ship or whatever it is to be missing. It's not possible for 30 feet, 40 feet, whatever of that to be obstructed at that amount of distance between that ship or whatever it is and the ship in the foreground. It's impossible for that to be the case on a spherical Earth, going by the calculations that they have to use. All the globe mathematics is all based on the sky. It has to match astronomy. It has to match astronomy, even though astronomy uses elevation angles, which is impossible on a curved surface. But either way, the globe Earth mathematics has to match the sky. So it can't be bigger, it can't be smaller. It has to have an average calculated radius of 3959 miles. That's what it has to have. And this is obviously a debunk of that radius. Because look at the difference. You're seeing the bottom of the ship over here, but you're seeing the bottom of this ship or whatever it is over here would be down here. So you can't, with that amount of small distance, there is no way on a globe Earth that that ship in the distance can be that much obscured while this other ship is up here. The only way that can happen is over a flat plane. There is no other way. True, obviously, tsunami wave shorting, as we already know. But the point is that this image is impossible on a globe Earth. For that ship, as I said, to be going over a curve and to be missing that much of its hull, it would have to be at that much of an angle. That's the angle it would have to be at. So I don't really need to say much more. This is a complete debunk of the globe. This is 100% proof of a flat Earth. It can't happen any other way. This is tsunami wave shorting, as we know. There is no measured radius value for the globe Earth. It's only a calculation, and that calculation is all based on the sky. It has to be a particular size. And so because the globe Earth has to be a particular size and it has to have a particular calculation, that means that this photograph completely debunks it. It's over. Thank you.